Los Angeles. It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Oh, no.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No! I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're gonna need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Channel 5 in San Diego has a website. Here's a story from Channel 5 in San Diego. It's an NBC affiliate. A hopeful Solana Beach man, Solana Beach being in the San Diego area. A hopeful Solana Beach man is taking his search for a bride to a billboard along a local highway. He says driving down the highway in the Miramar area could have you later walking down the aisle. In the billboard, he describes himself as a 43-year-old white male who's nice-looking and financially secure with a sense of humor. He's looking for a fun and physically fit woman with a great smile and a wonderful heart. The man reportedly receives about 100 calls a day since the ad went up 2 weeks ago. Now, I see a little picture of the billboard here. But I have a lot of questions about billboards like this. We've heard stories like this before from men and women placing ads, but a lot of guys placing these billboards up looking for wives. First of all, I think the guy who did this is pathetic. Just an opinion. I think he's pathetic. Here's why I think he's pathetic. It's one thing to meet somebody and kind of think they're cool and get married to them. Okay, I've done it. I'm not attacking marriage in any way. But why be desperate for it? I mean, if you're not married, there's all kinds of things in life to do. As I found out every time I was divorced. I mean, hell, after my last breakup, I not only banged everything that moved, I also spent time quietly reading, listening to music, traveling by myself, going places alone. I watched the TV shows I liked. I watched the sporting events I wanted to. I saw any friends I wanted to, including the kind of guys that my exes all disapproved of. Oh, yeah, no, I saw them, hung out with them, did what I wanted, when I wanted. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I didn't care if I never got married again. And frankly, if you haven't been married before, I don't know about this guy, the 43-year-old guy from Solana Beach. Pal, if you've never been married before, let me tell you something. You're not missing anything. You're not. I mean, at 43, you can still get laid. You can still enjoy your place. You have all your money and time to yourself. And you can date various people. Why be desperate for it? Sure, if you meet somebody great and you think they're cool and it's going really well and you're 43 years old, if you want to get married, okay. But being desperate and pathetic like this, you're not only making yourself look pathetic, in my view, you're hurting other guys. Because there are some of us who are not dying to be married. We're not dying for a wife. We don't need that. I have a girlfriend, but I didn't spend 10 cents finding her. I mean, we happen to know each other. We happen to start hanging out together. But I would put up a billboard looking for a wife. How lame is that? How pathetic is that? How pathetic are you? I don't care if you're 23 or 53. Does a guy need to get married so badly he has to advertise for a wife? And let's add into this equation all you guys who go for the mail-order brides, all you guys subscribing to those magazines from the Philippines and Russia and whatever other countries, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, where you try to pick up, chicks from overseas and bring them over here and marry them. Do you really need a wife? Why would you need a wife? Now, it's one thing, again, I want to separate out what I'm talking about here. If you marry somebody you know and they're cool, that's great. But this is like trying to cast a part in a play. Wife wanted, the billboard says. Wife wanted. Like you've got a part and you want to fill it. You're like a casting agent. Why do you need that? Why do you need a wife? Is your life that bad, that rotten? You know what? A wife is not going to solve it. A wife is not going to solve that problem. Wives are costly, and they can cause you more problems than they solve. I'll tell you that. I'm not talking about any particular wives individually, but you know what I'm talking about. Just because somebody's willing to sign a piece of paper and take half of everything you've got doesn't mean you're going to love them. It doesn't mean it's going to make your life any better. I mean, do men need to get married? Do you need to, should everybody get married? Should everybody have that part fulfilled, that role cast in their lives? I'm trying to meet the woman who will play the part of my wife. She must be fun and physically fit and have a good sense of humor. And have very large breasts. Please call the number below. Stupid. Do you think I'm off base here?
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
That sounds like you got the best job of them all.
You betcha, baby.
The Tom Leykis Show. Leykis on Hot Talk 1080 KO.
Yeah, the Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. Cherry on a cell phone. You're on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Cherry.
I was trying to tell you I totally agree with you.
Do you?
Yes. There is nothing different that anybody's going to do with a ring on their finger that they aren't going to do without it.
Well, and again, how pathetic are you that you have to advertise for a wife or a husband? That's pathetic.
Exactly. Like, you can go to any little whore bar where all the little rednecks hang out and pick up some no-tooth-having woman that drinks all the time, and she'll be just as good as a mail-order bride.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who, for some reason, think that the girlfriend or the boyfriend with the faults that they had before then are going to become an angel after the ring is on their finger, totally wrong. Other than to state, yes, I will give you a tax break, there is no reason to get married. Here you go, I'll give you a tax break, and our children will be legitimate, and that's about it. I can still love someone as much as I do now as I could with a ring on my finger. That's all it is. It's a ring and a piece of paper.
I believe somebody who runs an ad like that hates themselves, hates their own life. Because what's wrong with being alone if your life is good?
Exactly. And why would you need to advertise? Like, they're not looking for what a marriage stands for. And America's lost what a marriage stands for. It's supposed to be a celebration of love and commitment. And you're not going to automatically find someone to love and want to...
Many people who've gotten married have been committed. True.
But that's also why I'm not getting married, is because people have completely lost what marriage means.
There you go. So you're just going to F around.
No, the man that I'm with right now, we plan on spending the rest of our lives together. But I can say I will spend the rest of my life with you, and I will love you, and I will commit to you as much as I ever have now, as I will a week from now, without a ring and without a piece of paper.
You're not going to have kids with this guy, are you?
I don't want any children. At least I'm in school right now. So the way I see it, children aren't an option until I have a stable household and a career and a good family to bring them into.
Good.
And with school and work and renting a place and still having a car payment, it's not a good thing to bring a kid into because I can't afford it, and I'm not going to be providing them with what I think they should have.
All right. Well, Cherry, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate the call. Elizabeth on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
Great.
Wonderful. Long time, first time. And I just want to say thank you because you have straightened me out. I used to be one of those girls that was going to wait for marriage, and, well, I found out about the joys of sex.
There we go.
But I have to say this. I agree with you that this guy is pathetic, but I think we've got a bigger example of more pathetic people out there right now.
What's
the people
that?
on Married by America.
Well, here's the thing about that show. I don't believe that it's real. After Joe Millionaire, I believe all of these shows, especially on Fox, are completely fake and phony. In fact, didn't I read that somebody on Married by America is already married to somebody?
Oh, no way. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, don't believe a word of these shows. I'm done watching reality shows. I'm done.
I was done after Who Wants to Marry a Multimillionaire.
No, you weren't, because you watched Married by America.
No, I've heard about it. I haven't watched it.
Okay, yeah, I might be wrong, but I had heard that somebody who had been accepted for the show was married to somebody.
Oh, that's just funny.
Yeah, so what is it going to be, polygamy for America? What?
Yeah, I think that anybody who has to advertise is beyond desperate and doesn't really care about themselves. I think you're right, they hate themselves, because if I'm never married, I'm happy with myself still. I can envision, being 90 years old and having a full life without ever...
I would never be so desperate in life that I would advertise for a wife. You know what? If I'm lonely, I'll make some friends. Go out and get laid.
I feel the same way about single dads. If I'm so desperate for somebody to come out and hang out with me, then I need to just, work on myself a little bit more so that I'm more appealing to the opposite sex, obviously.
There you go. Elizabeth, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Chablis. Let me guess. That's what your parents were drinking when they forgot to buy a rubber that night.
Oh, no. Stop it.
Well, how'd you get that name?
Actually, my mother just thought it was a pretty name.
She did.
Well, thank you. Anyways, you had made a comment that, why do people need to get married? And coming from somebody who's never been married, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a need. I think it's more of a want.
Well, why would you spend that kind of money?
No, it's not about money.
Of course it is. Putting up a billboard like that, how much do you think that costs?
Oh, well, yeah, maybe he's just lonely, and
how pathetic is that? And a wife isn't going to make it any better.
Well,
a wife you had to advertise for is not going to make it any better.
Well, obviously, if he has to advertise for it, it's probably not going to work out anyways.
That's my point.
Anyways, you had made another comment. What was it? Oh, you said, and if somebody's happy, why do they need to be with somebody else anyways? If they're happy, they can just be alone. And
right.
I totally disagree with that, Tom.
Why?
Well, don't you think that even if you are happy, that it would be that much greater to have somebody to share it with?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
No.
So you think that somebody can be just as happy by themselves?
I think you can be happier.
Happier by yourself,
yes.
If you're in love with somebody and sharing your experiences with them.
I think you can be, yes. Because many people are in love with the wrong person for the wrong reason. Many times people settle for the best they can do just so they can have somebody. Many times people advertise for a wife on the side of the freeway. Come on. No, I don't think someone who had to get a wife off a billboard is going to be happier after she answers the ad.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there, Tom. But anyways, thanks for talking to me. And will you take me out with a bong rip and an orgasm?
Well, all right. I'm sure I wouldn't be the first to do that to you.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Lewis on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, what's up?
Not much, Lewis.
How you doing, buddy? Hey,
okay.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Being the way you are, which I happen to agree with a lot of that you say, I was just wondering, why did you get married 4 times?
Well, the reason I have the opinion I have today is because I learned by making mistakes.
So you admit there were mistakes?
Oh, I've admitted it many times. In fact, everything I teach on the air, like when I do Leykis 101 on this show, is based on mistakes I've made. I've made every mistake there is except for having children.
Right.
Every one.
Right.
All of them. Every rule I talk about on the air is something I once did wrong.
I knew you had the right answer for me.
Well, that's the answer. Believe me, I don't pretend to be a perfect person. I'm anything but.
Now, same thing with the single mothers.
What about them?
Because you dated a couple, right? Or
I did. Oh, yes. I made the big mistake. Absolutely. I've talked about the day I took the single mother to Disneyland and had to pay not only for her 2 kids, but for her sister and her sister's kid. I mean, it was hundreds of dollars. What an idiot was I?
Well, I guess in your position, I mean...
By the way, I didn't pay.
Do that.
I didn't pay.
Huh?
I didn't pay. She expected me to pay.
Oh, wow.
And I paid for my own admission, and then she was next in line and had to whip out the old MasterCard. And she didn't talk to me for a while. Right.
I totally agree, Tom, with the advertising the wife thing in the ad. That's just ridiculous. That's stupid. There's no need for that at all.
Pathetic.
There's no need there's no need to live on your own.
I think the guy who did that is a pussy.
There's nothing wrong.
In fact, the only time there's something wrong with living alone is if your life sucks. And if your life sucks, you got bigger problems that marriage is not going to solve.
Right. Oh, definitely. But going back to the beginning, if the first marriage didn't work for you, and the second, I mean, how come you kept going?
I've talked about this on the air. The third time I got married was to make my second wife upset.
Oh, okay.
And it worked.
Oh, I see. I listen to your show almost every day, so I guess I miss this sometimes.
I wouldn't do that today, but when I did it, it felt really good.
I see. And
I didn't know at the time that that's why I was doing it. I figured it out later. I thought I was in love.
Uh-huh.
And we were friends and everything. We got along great, but come on, getting married?
So it took 4 times, huh? Wow. See, that's...
And I'm not saying I'm opposed to marriage either. I'm simply saying that for me, I'm not going to cast my life like a play. Wife wanted, dog wanted, house wanted. I mean, come on.
True.
I'm going to live my life and go with the flow, and when something comes along that makes sense for me, then that's when I'll consider it. But the last thing I'm going to do is put a sign outside. Come on.
No, you just. I mean, like I said, you have the on the money. You have the right answers for me, Tom. And one thing before I go, one thing that you comment, I think it was last week or something, about this thing to do with the 35,000 salary a year thing.
Yes.
That you think that's called poverty?
Yeah, the poverty line in this country, as defined by the federal government, is somewhere around 30. Actually, it's 30,000.
Okay, you mean poverty like poor, like not being able to eat?
Yeah, and live in a major city. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I make close to 40 grand. Okay, I just feel like
it's got to be really hard for you to get by on that. I really do believe it.
The Tom Leykis Show. Tom Leykis, only on Hot. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
Oh, yeah, 1-800-5800-TOM. That's their telephone number. I'm talking about the guy in the San Diego area who placed a billboard along a freeway. Says he's a 43-year-old white male, nice-looking, financially secure, sense of humor. Looking for a fun and physically fit woman with a great smile and wonderful heart. The headline on the billboard says, "Wife wanted," and his phone number is there. Pathetic, right? Monica on a cell phone. You're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Monica.
Anyways, I just wanted to say I love your show, and I also called to say that I think this guy that put the billboard up, I'm thinking he just put it up to get more attention, and he just wants all these girls calling him. Obviously, he said, he has about 100 women calling him now, and I think he just did it so he could get more.
You think so?
Yes, I think so. I mean, why else would you go so far? I mean, he's getting 100 women, and obviously women think he's probably going to pick
What
them.
kind of women are going to call that number?
Women who are also desperate.
Right, that's my point. Who wants to be with a woman like that?
Well, obviously if he wants, he's going to want any kind of woman, any kind of girl who calls him. You know, and I think that's the only reason he put the billboard
So you don't think he really wants to get married?
I don't think he wants to get married at all, no. If he did, I mean, he wouldn't do that. You get what I'm saying? That's not a way to look for a wife.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, anyway.
You wouldn't call an ad like that if you saw one, would you?
Of course not.
What if the guy was really attractive?
No, of course not. I don't care if he looked like Brad Pitt. I mean, there's no way I would call someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just desperate. I mean, no.
Any woman worth having would not be impressed with that technique.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyhow, Tom, can you pick me out with the orgasm?
Of course I can, Monica.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
1-800-5800-TOM. This is Heather on a cell phone. Heather, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Do you care, Heather?
I sure do.
Doing great.
Good. Glad to hear it. Let me tell you, Tom, this guy is such a desperate loser. Any guy that has to put up a billboard in order to get married needs some help.
What kind of woman would respond to this kind of an ad?
Desperate people.
Nobody I think you'd want to marry.
Ain't that the truth?
Disgusting. And really ruining it for the other guys by making women think we're desperate.
Oh, I know. It's sad, Tom.
I don't like it.
Me neither.
But hang on a second. Kyle, you don't agree. Tell Heather why you don't agree.
Well, I don't agree because when I lay it out on the table, I see 100 physically fit women with beautiful smiles calling him every day. Now, I just cannot conceive that is a bad thing.
That may be true, but you know what? I mean, seriously, who's going to want to marry? Speaking as a woman, who is going to want to marry somebody who has to put out a billboard in order to get married?
I don't think it's about marriage at all, really. I think that, you can let a woman believe whatever she wants going into the date or, however he's going to plan this out. But, he might be just there to, like I said, get in their pants, These women are thinking that he's devoted to them or that he wants some sort of commitment with them, and that already eases the tension a little bit because from what I've found in my experience, that's what all the women want. They want that attachment. They want to feel secure. So I don't know. I think he's got a good thing going for him. Any money that he spent on it, I think it was well money spent.
It could be true. We are very gullible at times.
Yep.
All right, guys, thank you for the calls. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Mitch on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Mitch.
How you doing, Tom?
Do you care?
Of course I do.
Doing great.
Tom, I wanted to tell you you're doing a great justice for all the men in the world.
Thank you.
And I want to tell you, from your program, I've turned all my friends on, and they're getting more poon than they ever did. But also what I wanted to tell you in advocating not getting married, the reason you should never get married is if you marry a psycho woman that has money, in the family law courts of California, she can keep you in court every month of the year until that kid is 18 years old.
That's right.
And a lot of men do not know this. And it's important to advocate this and tell them and get them up to speed in their knowledge on this.
Well, I've talked about it many times on the air, and I've warned these guys, but you know what? When someone's got their foot on the gas and they're heading for a brick wall, there's not much you can do to stop them.
I agree 100%, Tom.
All right, Mitch, thank you.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Please take me out JFK style.
Senior or junior?
How about both?
Here we go, Mitch. Sound like it's show 1-800-5800-TOM. Jessica on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
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 How are you doing?
Do you care, Jessica?
Of course I do.
I'm doing great.
Good to hear. You know, I'm calling because the billboard guy, you know, I don't know where he has his billboard, what city he's living in, whatever.
Well, he's in the San Diego area. He's 43 years old.
Okay. You know, I would call this guy, if I was available, of course, I would call this guy just because it shows he has a sense of humor. He's got to be doing this because it's funny. Ultimately, he's going to get attention because...
Well, you hope that's the reason. It sounds to me like you're putting your own spin on it. But the reality is, isn't the guy just, like, desperate?
He probably is. But you know what? And he's not going to succeed in finding a wife. Ultimately, if that was his goal, he's not going to succeed just because there's 100-plus people calling him daily. So there's no way he can even weed through the hundreds of people to find...
By the way, it says he receives 100 calls a day. It doesn't say they're all women. It doesn't say they all want to go out with him.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
I probably call just to see what kind of person he's like. It strikes your curiosity, obviously.
Yeah.
Not something you see every day. And, I mean, people post their wanted ads online every day.
That's another thing I don't understand.
Well, you know, I have a friend who is single. She has 2 kids and knows she's not living in Seattle. But she doesn't get out. She has her kids, you know, every night. She works all day. And every other weekend, she has, you know, a weekend to herself, and she doesn't want to spend it in a bar. She'll go to bookstores, whatever. But it's hard being single, I think, at this age, and especially with kids. I'm not single, but I know if I was, I wouldn't know the first thing to do to find someone.
Spread your legs.
You know, I'm overweight because I lived in Seattle for about 4 years.
There we go.
Yeah, you want to put on some pounds, move to Seattle. And now I'm back in sunny California, and those pounds haven't gone away.
Are you in the gym yet?
I am. Actually, I went for the first time last night.
Of course you did. You're back in L.A. Now you're back at the gym.
I had. It took me a year, but I did it.
Uh-huh.
So. I'm proud of myself. Yes, I was like the only person under probably about 50 in the water aerobics class, but that's okay. It was good. I'll do it again Wednesday.
Thank you, Jessica.
But I wanted to say I love your show. I listened to you in Seattle, and then I didn't know what station you're on until I found you here in Southern California.
Oh, yeah. We're not hard to find.
Well, yeah. Once I found you, you're number 1 on my preset.
I love that.
How about that? You know, I have a question for you.
What's that?
I know how you feel about men in the service getting married.
Yes.
You say don't do it.
Yeah.
What about women who are going to marry someone in the service?
Well, obviously, you don't believe in being with somebody who can make a good living.
Okay, so that shows, obviously, dedication to the person. You're not going for their money.
Well, not necessarily, actually, because there are many women. These are bottom feeders, but there are many women who latch onto these guys because they have health benefits. Mm-hmm. You know, they get knocked up and have their pregnancies paid for, and, you know, they can then latch onto the guy's military pension and stuff if they split up. So it's kind of the low level of gold digging.
Okay. Well, see, I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years. He just recently joined the Navy, so it wasn't something I was after from the beginning. Obviously, to me, it makes it more appealing because at least he has some sort of motivation at this point. But, I mean, it shows that I feel that it's going to show my commitment to him that I'm okay being alone 6 months out of a year. And, you know, obviously he's not going to make a lot of money, but at least he has a goal and at least he has motivation and ambition.
Really?
But I know what they say about Navy men, so I'm worried.
Well, you know, I'm more worried about the men getting married because, first of all, if a military guy can't get laid at a time of war, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, that's the hottest thing you can be.
It is. It doesn't matter if I'm more or not. Every girl likes the guy in a uniform.
You know, and then you go on maneuvers to other countries and stuff. Come on, I'll show you some maneuvers. Let's go.
Oh, jeez. That's what I do here. Well, anyway, thanks for talking to me. I love you, Tom. I listen to your show all the time.
Thank you, Jessica.
Take me out with actually, just blow me up.
All right, here you go. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Jason on a cell phone. You're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. You know, I think this guy's hit pay dirt. I'm actually on the other line with 3M about to put a billboard at 405 and 10. You know, let me ask you a question. What's the difference between going to the bars, say, 3, 4, 5 nights a month, spending a couple $100 a night, or paying $1,000 for an advertising? You're advertising. What's the difference?
Because, first of all, you're not going to have to waste your time interviewing a bunch of people that once you see them, you're going to see how pathetic they look or how old they are or whatever. When you go to a bar, you know what you're getting. You get to look at the merchandise. You get to squeeze the fruit.
Well, let's say, okay, this guy's getting 100 calls a day.
Right, and 80 of them are guys calling going, and other crank calls. Come on. He's getting 100 calls a day. You didn't say he's getting 100 calls from women a day or that he's getting 100 marriage proposals a day. He's getting 100 calls a day.
Even if 1 out of 100 was hot. And here's the presumption that he wants to get married. I mean, this typical line is with...
If I were driving by this guy's billboard, I'd pull out the cell phone while I'm driving by. Hey, pal!
You know, I think he's actually taken it maybe even to the most efficient Leykis 101. He doesn't have to go to the bars. He doesn't have to do anything. He just sits there and gets some calls. And, you know, he's not buying his buddies drinks or chicks drinks. He's just sitting there going, interview.
He's going to go out with these chicks and buy them drinks. The guy who puts up that billboard is going to spend money, I'm telling you.
Well, you just take him to a coffee. And
he's casting a play here. He's going to take them out. They're going to get dinner. They're going to get this and that. Come on.
Well, I don't know. I think he's taking it to a great level, and I'm on the phone with 3M, so.
You are?
Yeah,
okay.
Because, you know, this is just a crack-up to me, and seeing it. It just takes the Internet one further step, so who knows?
Well, good luck, Jason.
Well.
Thanks for the call.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-866.
The only women who date nice guys all along are women who are not that attractive or are kind of chunky.
Yeah, but I date a nice guy.
You're probably kind of chunky.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom.
Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. Look at this. It's the guy on the billboard. Mark, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing okay. Mark, how are you?
I am not only fine, but I am a loyal listener, and I practice Leykis 101 in my daily life.
You do?
Yes.
Well, if you do, why are you advertising for a wife?
Well, Tom, in fact, you know, I was San Diego. I caught part of the show and then it faded out a little bit here because, you know, the station from L.A. comes in on the north part of town. I was driving into downtown.
Yeah.
But let me give you a little background on what it up so you'll understand. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was married, Tom, for 23 years. Had a pretty happy marriage, nice wife. My wife passed away last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm a widower. So, you know, after mourning a while, you know, you kind of feel bad, you're crying. You know, at one point I say, after a period of many months, you know, I want to meet somebody else. I want to date. And I said, the right person, you know, I'd like to have a relationship, possibly get married, okay? I went to the single scene for a couple months ago. I had some friends fix me out on dates. I met some woman from the internet. Personal ads, stuff like that. And I just didn't like the single scene. I thought the single scene for a guy in the mid-40s sucks, basically, okay?
Well, especially when you start calling it the single scene. I don't think we've called it that for a while.
Well, that shows you how old I am.
Give you an idea how long it's been since you've been single.
It's been too damn long. So anyway, so I get into the single thing. I don't like it. You know, a lot of women, you know, I go on and on and on, but, and I'm sure people listening can relate to if you're in your 40s trying to meet somebody, how difficult it can be. So I have kind of a crazy mind. I'm driving down the street one day and I see a billboard and I say, I'm going to put a personal ad up, but I'm going to put it on a billboard, okay? And it was a crazy idea. It went up about probably 2 weeks ago, and I had no idea what was going to happen. Tom, the first day the billboard went up, I had 75 phone calls, okay? Now I'm getting probably 200 to 300 phone calls a day. Originally, I didn't even want to do interviews. The media contacted me. I said, no, I don't want to do it. Then somebody from a local TV station twisted my arm, and I said, okay. So it went on TV in San Diego, then it went on radio in San Diego. Then the NBC network put it on nationwide. This thing has got nationwide publicity. And all I can tell you this is, Tom, okay, as I've had a ton of response, But I want to tell you about the caliber of woman that are responding to this billboard, because you've been talking about that, okay?
Yeah.
Okay? And, Tom, I am telling you, the woman who responded to this thing would blow your mind. I had a date last Friday night with a lady who's a former Las Vegas dancer, okay? Tonight I'm going out for dinner with a fitness instructor who's just awesome. And I have the best-looking woman in San Diego. They're intelligent. They're beautiful. And this is better than any woman that you'd meet in a bar or at a single dance or anything.
All right, are you banging these chicks?
No.
Why not?
Well, a lot of reasons, okay?
Come on, what are you doing?
Well, first of all, the media is watching my every move. If I go out with a woman and I bang her the first time, it's going to be all over the press.
God, I would hope the media would find me banging every broad I see. I'll tell you what. Mark, I wish we had more time for this hour, but I know you have to run. And I'm out of time for the hour on the air here, so we'll talk again. Thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Like us on Hot Talk 1080 KOTK.